We're going to be working on partial sums with 2, 3, and 4 addends. And remember, addends are the numbers that are added. When we're discussing partial sums, they are the parts that get added together. So something that we've already spoken about with partial sums is breaking the numbers, the addends, into tens and ones. So for example, for partial sums with 2 digits, we're doing the tens, so 5 tens plus 2 tens, which is 7 tens, but remember it's 7 with a 0 because 7 tens is having the value of 70. 4 ones plus 3 ones is 7 ones, and 70 plus 7, these are called the partial sums. So 70 plus 7, we're adding that together for the sum of 77. So 54 plus 23 is 77. The most important thing to remember with partial sums is to line up your tens and your ones. Again, so we're doing partial sums. 3 tens plus 1 10 is 4 tens. 4 tens has the value of 40. 7 plus 5 has a value of 12. So my partial sums are 40 and 12. And when I add these partial sums together, I'll find out the sum of 37 plus 15. So 4 plus 1 is 5. The value of 37 plus 15 is 52. The sum is 52. Again, 40 and 12 are called the partial sums. When we're using partial sums, we're trying to find a strategy that's going to make our math problem a little bit easier. Here's another problem, 38 plus 56. 3 tens plus 5 tens is 8 tens. 8 tens has a value of 80. 8 plus 6 is 14. 80 and 14 are my partial sums. 0 plus 4 is 4, and 8 tens plus 1 more 10 is 9 tens. 38 plus 56 is 94. 80 and 14 are the partial sums. So with 3 digits, we're going to keep with the same pattern. And so we're going to still add the tens. So 1 10, 3 tens, and 2 tens, which has the value of 6 tens, which is 60. But when it comes to adding the ones, we're going to try and see if there are any compatible numbers. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to add. I noticed that 8 and 2 has a value of 10, so I'm going to add those first. So 8 plus 2 is 10. If I add 4 more, the value is 14. So my partial sums are 60 and 14. 0 plus 4, and then 6 tens plus 1 10 is 7 tens. So 12 plus 34 plus 28 is 74. Again, we're using partial sums. 2 plus 2 plus 1 gives us a value of 5 in our tens, so 50. 7 plus 3 equals 10, so I want to add that first. You might even draw a little spot to the side where you're saying, I added this and it was 10. 10 plus 1 more is 11. So my partial sums are 50 and 11. When I add 50 plus 11, the sum is 61. So 27, 21, and 13, when added together, have a sum of 61. So remember, we're always trying to make our problems a little bit easier than they were. 1 plus 3 plus 2 in my tens gives me 6 tens, which has a value of 60. 6, 2, and 8. 8 and 2 partner together to get 10. So my new problem is 10 plus 6 in order to figure out how many ones that I have. 10 plus 6 is 16. 60 and 16 are my partial sums. When I add my partial sums, I have a value of 76. The sum of 16, 32, and 28 is 76. Again, I'm starting with my tens. 3 plus 1 plus 1 more gives me 5 tens, which has the value of 50. Here I don't have anything that's going to be a compatible set that equals up to the next 10, so I'm just going to add 2 plus 4 plus 2, which gives me a value of 8. So I'm making sure to put the 8 right underneath that 0 because they're both in the ones place. The sum of 32, 14, and 12 is 58. So when you have four addends, things get a little bit more difficult because you might even add your ones together and get a number that is bigger than 20. So sometimes that happens and you really have to pay attention. So let's do 25 plus 17 plus 24 plus 15. Using partial sums, 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 gives me a value of 6 tens. I'm looking over here to the side. I'm going to try to make an easier problem because 5, 7, 4, and 5, those are a lot of numbers. There's a lot of regrouping. 5 and 5 is 10, and 7 and 4 is 11. When I add 10 plus that 11, I get a value of 21. So when I add all my ones together, the sum is 21. I still have to add back to those tens. When I add my partial sums, 60 plus 21, the sum of all of these addends is 81. So 32 plus 16 plus 18 plus 31. Here we go. We've got another set with 4 addends. I'm going to add all my tens. First I want to do 3 plus 3 because it's a double. So that's 6, 7, and 8. So I have 8 tens, which has a value of 80. Looking over here, I see 8 and 2, which equals up to be 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. Add 1 more. 17 in my ones. 0 plus 7 is 7. And 8 tens plus 1 10 is 9 tens. So the sum of these addends is 97. So sometimes your problem will be written out horizontally. I like to put it vertically, especially with the partial sums, so it can be a little bit more organized. So again, when you're writing out your problem, you want to make sure all of your tens are lined up. All of your ones are also lined up. If you wanted to draw a skinny little line right here, that's fine. But it's very important and you've got to make sure that everything is matching. So let's go. Here we go. 3 plus 3 is 6, 7 and 8. So we've got 8 tens. 7 and 3 equals up to be 10. So I'm going to add that first. 10 plus 8 is 18 and add 1 more for 19. When I add my partial sums, 0 and 9 is 9 and 8 tens plus 1 10 is 9 tens. So the sum is 99. And again, this is partial sums with 2, 3, and 4 addends.